I've been thinking about something lately. I think a lot of women are exhausted. And yet, when we finally get the opportunity to rest, something strange happens. We don't always relax. Sometimes we become restless. Maybe you've experienced this. You finally have an afternoon with nothing planned, the house is quiet, the emails can wait. For the first time in a while, there isn't anything you absolutely have to do. And instead of feeling relieved, you feel uncomfortable. You pick up your phone, you start cleaning something, you make a mental list of tasks. You find yourself wondering if you're wasting time. I've done this more times than I can count. And lately I've been asking myself a question. Why does rest feel so difficult when it's the thing so many of us say we desperately need? I don't think there's one answer, but let's focus on 4 reasons many of us struggle to slow down. Number 4, we've been taught that rest must be earned. I think many of us grew up believing that rest comes after everything else is finished, after the dishes, after the laundry, after the work, after everyone else's needs have been taken care of. Rest becomes a reward, something we receive after we've proven we've worked hard enough. The problem is that life doesn't really work that way. There is always another task, another responsibility, another thing we could be doing. And if rest depends on everything being completed first, many of us never actually arrive there. We keep telling ourselves, I'll rest after this week. I'll rest after this project. I'll rest when things calm down. But somehow things never fully calm down. And eventually we stop seeing rest as something we need and start seeing it as something we have to deserve. I wonder how many of us are carrying that belief without even realizing it. Number 3, sometimes silence brings up things we'd rather not feel. This one feels a little more personal. I've noticed that when life gets quiet, things sometimes surface that I wasn't expecting. Worries, disappointment, grief, questions I haven't answered, feelings I've been too busy to fully acknowledge. When we're constantly occupied, we don't have much time to notice what's happening inside of us. Busyness can be comforting that way. It gives us somewhere to put our attention. But stillness asks something different of us. It asks us to listen. And sometimes listening feels harder than staying busy. I wonder if part of the reason rest feels uncomfortable isn't because rest itself is uncomfortable. Maybe it's because rest creates enough space for us to finally hear ourselves. Number 2, we've forgotten how to simply be. This feels like one of the biggest losses of modern life. We're taught how to achieve, how to reduce, how to improve, how to optimize, but very few of us are taught how to simply exist. To sit on the porch and watch the wind move through the trees. To drink a cup of tea without doing something else at the same time. To take a walk without measuring it. To enjoy a quiet afternoon without feeling guilty about it. Sometimes I think we've become very skilled at doing, but we've become beginners at being. And because of that, rest can feel unfamiliar. Not because we're doing it wrong, but because we've had so little practice. Number 1, rest is not separate from life. When I look at nature, I don't see endless productivity. I see rhythms. I see seasons. Trees become dormant. Animals retreat. Fields lie fallow. Winter arrives every year without apology. Nature doesn't see rest as failure. Nature understands that rest is part of renewal. And yet, so many of us have come to believe that resting means we're falling behind, that slowing down means we're wasting time, that productivity is a measure of a life well lived. But what if we've misunderstood what rest actually is? What if rest isn't the opposite of growth? What if rest is one of the ways growth happens? What if rest isn't an interruption to life? What if rest is part of the rhythm of being alive? As I've thought about all of this, I don't think most women need another productivity system. I don't think we need to become better at squeezing more out of ourselves. I think many of us need permission to remember something much simpler. We are not machines. We're living beings. And living beings have rhythms. Times of activity, times of restoration, times of growth, and times of stillness. Maybe rest isn't something we need to earn. Maybe it's something we need to honor. And perhaps a softer way of living begins when we stop treating rest as a reward and begin treating it as part of what it means to be fully human. Thank you for spending this time with me. And until next time, take good care of yourself.